Yesterday we began talking about what it means to be charging disciples. And as we looked at that, we saw how charging disciples, it means that we care for one another. We look out for one another. We seek to help one another. We seek to encourage one another. But not only that, we said that charging disciples means we course correct one another, and we do this when necessary. We saw that Priscilla and Aquila noticed something with Apollos' teaching, and they pulled him aside. Didn't embarrass him publicly, but they pulled him aside, course corrected, and we're going to see that course correction has changed, and it is affected the way Apollos continues to go forward. As we continue to talk about charging disciples, today I want to talk to you about charging disciples means we help one another. And we're going to see that Apollos helps other believers, helps other disciples in their relationship with Jesus Christ. Verse 27 of chapter 18 will just be in the last two verses of 18. We will go to 19 tomorrow. And when he wished to cross to Achaia, the brothers encouraged him and wrote to the disciples to welcome him. When he arrived, he greatly helped those through grace had believed. For he powerfully refuted the Jews in public, showing by the scriptures that the Christ was Jesus. Now, as we talked about yesterday, there was some debate on whether Apollos was a believer or not prior to verse 27. Whatever your opinion on that is, it's clear that he is a firm believer in Jesus Christ, and that's shown by the actions, that's shown by how he's living his life. He desires to cross to Achaia, to go to fellow believers in the faith, to encourage them with the gospel message, and to disciple them and to charge these disciples. Apollos goes to Corinth, and let me remind you, he had just spent some time talking with Priscilla and Aquila, who, if you think back to the beginning of chapter 18, it is Priscilla and Aquila that Paul met in Corinth. And Priscilla and Aquila, as they pull him aside, I'm sure there's some conversation about ministry and about disciples that are in places that Priscilla and Aquila have been. I don't know what the motivation was, but Apollos felt compelled to go to Corinth, to take the gospel wherever he goes. As we think about going to one, wherever we go, we're to take the gospel. We're to instruct people with this gospel message. And Corinth, remember, is not a place that's just safe, right? I mean, it's not a place where, as he mentions here, he's going to powerfully refute the Jews. And that's not a place that you just want to go to. I mean, think about what took place with Paul. He was reviled and he was opposed by the Jews in Corinth. And this is not somewhere that's safe, but Apollos felt compelled to go to share the gospel. And as he arrived, it was his desire for grace to be supreme. This gospel message of grace, not a message of works or things that you have to do or accomplish in order to be saved, but the message of grace saves our souls. Now note that as he goes, it's not his power that he's going. We talked about yesterday, he's smart, he's eloquent, he's a very gifted teacher. But that's not what he is focusing on. He's focusing on the power of Jesus Christ and Christ's grace alone, what is able to bring salvation. Apollos loved the Word of God, and it helped him tremendously as he sought to powerfully refute the Jews, as it says here in the verses that we have just read. The Jews, think about it. I mean, the Jews understand, and they're looking at the lens of the Old Testament Messiah. And they didn't fully understand, they didn't fully grasp, they didn't fully see that this Old Testament Messiah was in fact truly Jesus. And the fact that Apollos had understanding, remember he was a Jew, he understood what they looked at and he understood how they thought. And he was able to powerfully refute the Jews, and he was powerfully able to show them that Christ was the Messiah. So as we think about charging disciples, we've got to help one another. Apollos went to help, he went to strengthen, he went to encourage and help build these believers in Corinth up in the message and the gospel of Jesus Christ. As we seek to help one another, let it be a motive and let it be fueled by our love for Jesus and our love for Jesus wanting that same thing for other people that we seek to help. I hope you have enjoyed this message today. As you seek to charge disciples, reach out to somebody, reach out to a kid, reach out to a senior adult today, encourage them in the faith, and charge them up as a disciple of Jesus Christ. Have a great day.